Hi students, very good evening. Welcome back to Sri Ramanuja Vidya Mandir. Students, today I would like to explain about the topic name tissues. So this is the second topic of our NCERT textbook. Today students, let us start the class. Our topic name is, as I said, tissues. Children, every living creature is made up of small fundamental units known as cells. Cells are the structural and the functional fragments of the living organism. Every cell, every organism is supposed to have the cells. Children, basing on the number of cells, organisms have been classified into two types, unicellular and the multicellular. In the case of unicellular, students, only single cell is present. So, all the metabolic events are performed by the single cell here itself, like taking of the food materials, digestion, metabolism, excretion, respiration. All these activities performed by single solo cell in case of unicellular organisms. Examples for the unicellular: amoeba, paramecium. Now let us see the multicellular. Here, as the organism is having so many cells, there are certain organisms, they may have some millions of cells in their body. So, there we can see the work distribution among the different cells. Okay, in the case of multicellular organism. So, this is the way. I'll explain you about the multicellular in the coming slides. Now, let us start the tissues. The definition of tissue is, children, an aggregation of similarly specialized cells together perform specialized functions are called as tissues. You just look at the picture here, children. Okay, here, see, there are n number of cells are present. Okay, so cell is having the nucleus and it is filled with the fluid-like matter is known as cytoplasm. Cell is having nucleus at the center and it is filled with the cytoplasm. See children, this is the cell. Okay. Cell is having so many internal structures. Those are cell organelles. This is a tissue, children. Okay. So, tissue means a group of cells performing some function is nothing but the tissue. Here, see children, every cell is separated from the other cell by means of plasma membrane and the cell wall. Children, if it is plant cell, cell is further surrounded by the cell wall. See, this is a cell. It is having so many internal structures known as cell organelles. Central nucleus is present and ER, endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, lysosomes, chloroplast. So all these are the different types of organelles that we have in our cells. Children, first let us talk about the plant tissue. Before going to know about the plant tissue, children, I would like to give the importance of the tissue present in the living organism. Right? See, this tissue means, children, which brings about division among the labor. Okay, and now children, as we are discussing about the multicellular, so here we have the so many cells in our body, some millions of cells in our body. So there we can see the work distribution among the cells. Like we can say sharing of the work. For example, let us take a human body. In our human body, children, we have nearly 10 systems in our body, like endocrine system, nervous system, muscular, circulation, transportation, so reproductive tissue system, digestive system, respiratory system. In this way, we have n number of systems in our body. See children, every cell in our body has to perform some function. For example, if it is the cell present in the kidney, we can say neuron. So, what is the main task of the neuron? Filtration of the urine or formation of the urine. Okay. Now let us see the nerve cell, neuron. So what is the main function of our neuron? It is going to transmit nerve impulse from one cell to other cell or from one part of the body to the other part of the body. Right? Like muscle cell is there. It is going to carry out contraction and the relaxation. Cells which are present in the liver are known as adipocytes. So these hepatocytes. These hepatocytes going to take care of the detoxification. Right? So in this way, children, so many cells performs different tasks in our multicellular body. But in the case of unicellular, as the organism's body is having single cell, so no one is there to share the work in the unicellular. But in the case of multicellular, so many cells are present. So there's a chance of sharing of the work among the different cells. You know, children, cells are combined together to form a tissue. Tissues become organized to form an organ. Again, these organs finally organized to form an organ system. Finally, we'll get the complete organism. Tissue decreases the workload of individual cells. See, this formation of the tissue, sharing of the work among the different cells. So obviously, it is decreasing the workload of individual cell. Now, children, there are two types of tissues are there, plant tissue and the animal tissue. So, though they are living organisms, there is so many structural differences are there between the plant tissue and the animal tissue. Let us see the differences between the plant and animal tissue. See, you know, children, first and foremost difference is that plant is a stable organism. It cannot move from one place to other place. Whereas animals, they are mobile. So they can show the locomotion. They can easily move from one place to other place. Because of this unique character, the structure is changing in the plant as well as the animals. Plants remain fixed at a place, so they require more supportive or more strength to stand. It's a stable organism, so it requires more supportive tissue for the mechanical support. Hence, dead supportive tissues are more abundant in the plant. Dead tissues like cord provides mechanical strength. Okay, so our plant needs support, mechanical strength. Okay, for this, plant is having abundant amount of the dead tissue. Let us see the same in the animal tissues. Animals are mobile. They move around in search of food, in search of their partner and all. So they can easily move from one place to other place. So most of the tissues are living. The plants, most of the tissues are dead. Whereas in the animals, most of the tissues are living. Like our plants require less maintenance of energy. So as the most of the plant tissues are dead, our plant requires very less energy, less maintenance energy. But animals requires more energy. Plant continues to grow throughout the life. So growing tissues in the plants are localized in certain regions. So they have two basic types of tissues like meristematic and the permanent tissue. So Let us see the same in the animals. Animals stop growing after reaching the or maturing age. Meristematic tissues are not present in the animals. So, presence of meristematic tissue is the special characteristic feature of our plants. These meristematic tissues are absent in the animals. Okay. Next, let us see plant tissue. See children, in plant, tissues are divided into two types, meristematic and the permanent. Cells are capable of cell division in the case of meristematic. In the case of permanent, mature cells incapable of cell division. Mature cells incapable of cell division. Again, children, these permanent cells will divide into further two types, simple and the complex. Simple tissue composed of single type of cells, whereas complex tissue composed of more than one type of the cells. Again, simple tissue further divided into three types, parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Complex tissue is further divided into xylem and the phloem. Xylem consists of xylem vessels, tracheids, whereas phloem consists of phloem seed tubes and the companion cells. It's about the different tissues of the plant. Let us see the meristematic tissue, children. It's the diagrammatic representation of the meristematic tissue. So let us see the importance of meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissues are composed of cells that divide continuously. In the cells which are present in the particular tissue, they keep on divide continuously. That is the main unique feature for meristematic tissue. This tissue is absent in animal cells. The cells are spherical, oval, polygonal, or rectangular in shape. So children, the cells are spherical, oval, polygonal, or rectangular in shape. Cell wall is thin and made up of the cellulose. You know, children, see, this is the cell, right? And this cell is surrounded by the cell wall in the case of plant cell. This wall is constructed by means of cellulose. Cellulose is the one of the polysaccharide which helps in the formation of cell wall in the case of plant cell, that too in the meristematic tissue. Right, the cells are closely arranged without intercellular spaces. You can see the picture here. See children, the cells are very closely arranged. There is no intercellular spaces between the two cells. What do you mean by intercellular? Inter means it is about two cells. It is in between two. So there is no space present between the two cells. There is a reason intercellular spaces are absent. Cytoplasm is abundant and nuclei are large. Vacuoles are absent if present. Very few are present. In the case of meristematic tissue, vacuoles are absent. Even if present, they are very small in size, like animals. The children, even this meristematic cells are of three types: apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and the lateral meristem. What are those three different types, children? Apical, intercalary, and the lateral meristems. Okay. Now let us see the classification of the meristems. Just we have seen in the diagram. Now let us discuss the different points. Apical, there is the position we'll see at the root tips and the shoot tips. Here you can look at the picture, students. This is the apical meristem. It is mostly present at the tip portions of shoot or root. So see this is a tip, no. So here we can see the meristematic tissue. Function to increase in the length of axis. So it helps in the longitudinal increase of the plant. Right. Next, vertical meristem position on the lateral sides of the stem and the root. It is supposed to present at the lateral sides of the root. So means here. So this is the meristematic tissue. On the lateral sides of the meristem or stem or root it is present. It helps in the increase in the diameter of the plant. So width of the plant can be increased with the help of lateral meristem. Intercalary meristems position at the base of leaf, internodes leaf. Intercalary meristems are present. It helps in the increase of the plant or its organ. Just see, children. So these intercalary meristems are supposed to present in between the two nodes. See, children, this is the node, this is the second node, and this is the third node. So the space between two nodes is called internode. Okay. So this intercalary meristems helps in the increasing length of the internodes, so that it obviously helps the plant to grow well, or for the development or the growth of the plant. Just look at the pictures. Stem apex and the root tip. This is the stem one. Here we can see the meristematic tissue. As you know, stem is positively phototropic. Our root is negatively phototropic. Okay. Functions of the meristematic tissue, let us see. The main function of the meristematic tissue is continuously form a number of new cells and helps in the growth of the tissue. You know, meristematic tissue in the sense, one thing we should get in your mind, that growth. Always meristematic tissue supports growth of the plant. You know, plant can grow throughout the life. Okay. Because of what? Because of this meristematic tissue. Right. Now let us see permanent tissue. Till now, students, we discussed meristematic. Now we are discussing about the permanent. Okay, second type of tissue in the case of plants. See, let us see before going to close the meristematic tissue, I would like to explain the functions of meristematic tissue once again. The meristematic cells are, see children, spherical, oval, or some are cuboid in shape, some are polygonal in shape. The cells are very compactly arranged. There are no intercellular spaces are present. Cell wall is thin, elastic, and made up of the cellulose. Each cell has abundant cytoplasm and the nucleus at the center. There are some cells they may lack vacuole, even if present also, very small, a small size of vacuole is present. Okay, this is about the meristematic tissue. Let us see the permanent tissue. See, when the cells formed by the meristematic tissue take up a scientific role and lose the ability to divide. Actual children, these meristematic cells, they divide to give a new cells, no? Finally, at certain stage, cell may lose its dividing capability. So finally, it will become a permanent cell. As is that, they form permanent tissue. So this process of taking up of permanent shape, size, and the function is called differentiation. Cells of meristematic tissue differentiate to form different types of permanent tissue. Okay, you know, with this, I can give you one conclusion that all the permanent tissue, the cells which are present in the permanent tissue are earlier, they were from the meristematic tissue only. So when they'll keep on divide at certain stage, they're going to differentiate to form a permanent tissue. So let us see the different types of permanent tissues. Okay. See children, simple permanent tissue and the complex permanent tissue. Simple, parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, whereas complex permanent tissue is xylem and the phloem. Okay. See, again, there are further different types are there under simple permanent and complex permanent. Parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma are the permanent tissue. Xylem and the phloem are the complex tissues. Children, first let us study simple permanent tissue. A simple tissue is made up of one type of cells that forms homogeneous or uniform mass. Simple plant tissue includes parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. So almost all the cells present in the tissue are same type, same kind. Okay, so we can say that they are homogeneous or uniform. Let us see parenchyma, one of the simple tissue. Cells are isodiametric, that is equally expanded on all the sides. You just look at the picture here, children. So cells are isodiametric, means they are equally expanded to the different directions. They may be oval, some are round or spherical or elongated in shape. Nucleus is present and they are living cells. All the parenchyma tissues are made up of living cells. Cell wall is thin and made up of the cellulose. Cytoplasm is dense with the single large vacuole. See children, if this is the cell, here the nucleus is present. This light color one is nothing but the vacuole. Right. Intercellular spaces may present or so sometimes see very little intercellular space may present or may absent. Okay. So may contain chlorophyll. Parenchyma which contain chlorophyll are called chlorenchyma. Parenchyma which contains chlorophyll is called chlorenchyma. See types of parenchyma children. Here parenchyma is there and this is the chlorenchyma. See children, this is the tissue, the cross-sectional cross-sectional view of the leaf. Okay. So see children, chlorenchyma. Here, these are the cells, right? These are the parenchyma cells. All these cells are having the chloroplast. Okay. So, you know, leaves performs the process of photosynthesis. Why? The leaves are having the special pigment called as chlorophyll. That chlorophyll pigment is present in the chloroplast of their cells. So, all those chloroplasts are present here itself. Okay, this is about the collenchyma. See children, this is first figure. It is parenchyma. So, what do you mean by parenchyma? Hydrophytes means the plants which are present over the water surface. They can easily float over the surface of the water. How? The reason is that as this special type of plants are having the parenchyma tissues, so much of air gaps are present. So because of this parenchyma tissue, it can give the buoyancy to the plant so that it can easily float on the surface of the water. Okay, so occurrence found in the cortex of the root, ground tissues in the stem, and the mesophyll cells. Now we are talking about the occurrence of the parenchyma in the case of plants. It is generally found in the cortex of the root, ground tissues in the stem, and the mesophyll cells of the plant. Functions we are discussing: it stores and assimilate the food. See children, parenchyma means one thing you should get in your mind: storage. And assimilation means, you know, what do you mean by assimilation? Utilization of the food for the body use is called assimilation. Give mechanical strength by maintaining the turbidity. Prepare food if chlorophyll is present, you know, as we have seen the leaf cells. So leaf cells are having the mesophyll cells. In that mesophyll cells, chloroplast is present. Of course, it is having chlorophyll. Obviously, it helps in the preparation of the food material. It supports the photosynthesis. Stores waste products like tannin, gum, crystals, and the resins. So it is storing the waste products like tannins, gum, crystals, and the resins. These are the functions of the parenchyma. So once again, I'm explaining the parenchyma. So this is the different types of parenchymas are there: parenchyma and the collenchyma. Once again, I'm going to explain the characteristic features of the parenchyma. They are very, very important. Please listen this carefully once again. Cells are isodiametric. equally expanded to all the corners, and some cells are oval in shape, some are spherical, some are polygonal in shape. Okay, nucleus is present and hence they are living cells. Cell walls are thin, made up of cellulose. Cytoplasm is dense with the single large vacuole is present, and there are intercellular space are present. You know what do you mean intercellular space? The gap present between two cells is known as intercellular space. See children, this is intercellular space. Okay. They contain chlorophyll, so obviously they helps in the process of photosynthesis. We can call them as chlorenchyma. Here, this is a chlorenchyma. Okay. Already we discussed about parenchyma. They are special type of tissues present in the hydrophytes. Okay, appearance. They are mostly present in the cortex of the root, ground tissues of the stem, and the mesophyll cells of the leaf. Children, see this. These are the mesophyll cells, right? So this is the leaf cross-section view of the leaf. Children, we are this is so all these are called um, mesophyll cells, palisade and spongy mesophyll cells present. Okay, these cells are having the chlorophyll, so we can call them as a chlorenchyma. Okay, children. So, this I completed the parenchyma. In the next class, I'm going to explain about the chlorenchyma and the sclerenchyma. So, once again, let us rewind the very important children. Permanent tissues, different types, simple, under simple, parenchyma we discussed. And in the next class, let us discuss colon and sclerenchyma. Okay. So, if time permits, I'm going to explain these complex tissues also. Permanent tissue children, you know about this. Okay. And first of all, you all should practice this mind map, children. Okay, different plant tissues. This mind map everybody should practice. Okay, if you are aware of this mind map, you can easily write the points with your own. Okay, children. I hope time up. So I'm going to close my session. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Have a nice day, my dears.